Hey guys, so I wanted to make a video on body image and specifically in like athletes and bikini competitors. Of course, I have no idea really where this video is gonna go, because once I start talking and things come out and I get very passionate about this kind of stuff, so I have no idea where it's gonna end up. And I also want you to remember that all of this is based off of my experience and my opinion only. None of this is to be taken to heart. Do not follow any of my advice. This is just me giving you my perspective on things that I've experienced personally. So I wanted to start, I read this thing on Instagram last week and it kind of bothered me. Someone had a post on there that said I'm trying to remember exactly how it said, but something that like all bikini competitors or bodybuilding competitors, especially women, have eating disorders. Now, to me, there's a difference. There's distorted eating and there's an eating disorder. People can have disordered eating patterns and that be different than having a full-fledged eating disorder. Like maybe someone's just obsessed with counting their macros, or making sure that everything weighs out just perfectly. Like that would be a disordered eating pattern, but not necessarily saying that they undereat, overeat, or they binge and purge by any means. So I wanted to make that clear. I do think that the sport, and especially when you get into prep, can definitely set you up for disordered eating patterns. Absolutely. I feel like that's something I've struggled with a lot of my life. In my teens, I was actually diagnosed with anorexia. And then once I was able to kind of come around and bring the pieces back together from that, then it went to binging and purging. I was bulimic. So I still had that fear. I didn't want to get fat, but I was so happy that I felt like I could eat again. But it was still that fear of getting fat. And I feel like that's what a lot of the eating disorder stuff is. It's a fear of something. You're using it in a way to cover some emotions. You're using it to bottle up some emotions and not feel them. So when you start to feel just that little bit of fear, sadness, you turn to food, or you turn to starving yourself, or excessive exercise, things like that. So I've been there and I've had those thoughts, and I know it's very, very crippling. So I wanted to make that clear, that it doesn't mean that every person who is an athlete or even a competitor is going to have an eating disorder. This is not true. Now, I had my first competition last year. I did great during my improvement season when my coach had me, increasing my macros to put on some muscle. Of course, it had that little, I feel like most women would, a little hesitant at first because you're like, oh, I don't want to put on a lot of fat. But once you start to see that you're fueling your muscles and this is all going to a good place, I feel like that whole mindset changes. And I did fine during the prep. I did fine during the cutting. Like that wasn't even really a big deal for me. My hardest thing was the reverse. And I feel like everyone says this, so I don't feel too bad, because a lot of people struggle with this. And this wasn't even like a mental thing, like my history of eating disorders. This was I guess like my body's trying to catch up. It wants the food. It has been in this state for too long and it doesn't like it. So it definitely started out as more of like a physical thing, like my body wants the food and it was doing what it could to get it in, which was me literally eating anything and everything. And then it turned into a mental thing because I felt so ashamed of myself and so bad. And of course I'm like, I still want to keep going to the gym. Like I want to get out there. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I'm like, I felt disgusting. I felt like people would be able to tell, like, oh my God, she just put on like 10 pounds and she was super lean. But it was what it was. I stuck with it. I still went to the gym. I still got my ass out there and did what I had to do, because I was like, no, we're not going back there. Like, I've been in these situations too many times in my life, and I've come too far to let this ruin things again. So even someone coming from a history of eating disorders and, you know, all the mental components that come along with that, I was still able to pull myself out of what I was going through during the reverse. And I feel like that's just because I've had all these tools that I've used in the past. Like, I have gone to therapy, I have used medication, I've worked with a nutritionist. Like, I've done all these things before. Like, I know what to do. I have a degree in health and fitness, so a lot of the times it's easier said than done. It's easier to help other people. So I feel like a good way for me to help other people is to spread the word, to let you know my experiences, what I've gone through, how things have helped me, especially if any of this resonates with you as well. So it's not just me like throwing health and fitness stuff down your throat, like here, you need to work out, you need to stop eating. Like, no, I want you to know, like, I've been there. I've gone through what you've gone through. I know what you're feeling. Like, I'm a person. I understand these things. I'm a very understanding and caring person. I really like to get to know people. I'm just very transparent. So, and at first I wasn't. Like, I was very ashamed of these things. But I quickly learned that my story could always help someone else, so it's worth sharing. But that's my ramble on that Instagram post that I saw, because I don't agree with that, and I'm sure there are many other bikini competitors out there and athletes that have never had an eating issue. Like, they've maybe done sports and stuff since they've grown up. Like, it's such a it's like in their blood. Like, they just know, like, okay, I gotta eat, go do practice, I'm gonna eat and then play my game, or eat and do my, like, it's just second nature to people. And it depends, I guess, what sport you're in, and then of course, you know, coaches and stuff, what they expect from you, that can be the biggest issue, I'm sure. But all in all, I don't agree with that, and I don't think that should be a blanket statement about competitors in general. I don't agree with that. And that's my personal opinion. Other people may agree. You may agree that if you have a disordered eating pattern, then you clearly have an eating disorder. But I feel like I know the difference. I've dealt with both. Like, even now, like, I probably have disordered eating patterns, I'm sure. I love tracking my food. Like, I have to track it. I have to know, like, where my numbers are for the day. But I'm not, like, letting it define me. Like, oh my God, like, I'm such a terrible person. I ate too many carbs today. No, I track it. I use it as a data point and I move on. But I feel the need that I have to track it. So that definitely can be an issue, but it doesn't bring me any mental stress over it, like seeing the numbers. And like, yes, I do weigh myself every day now. And once again, that's just a data point. Especially, I do it mostly every day when I'm in prep. When I'm just in improvement season, I might hit it 3 to 5 times a week. You know, it just depends. Like, I don't stress over it, especially if I know, like, I didn't get a lot of sleep or ate a lot of sodium the day before. You know, digestion feels off. Like, I already know my weight's going to be higher that morning anyway, so I'm not even going to step on the scale and upset myself over it. But when we're in prep, it's like every little thing is a data point, and we learn how stress affects my body. And this is one of the ways I've learned that stress affects me quite quickly, actually. I feel like my weight does shoot up pretty quick when I don't get enough sleep, or if my digestion can get crazy, like, quickly too. But those things, they affect me quickly, and my coach and I have learned that through this process. So it's just kind of made me more in tune with myself, and I know, like, okay, well, I'm not gonna get on that scale now and hope that I'm, like, down 5 pounds, because realistically I know that that's not the case, and I know how my body responds to different things, so I know not to expect that. And then I just avoid it if I can. Like, what's the point of upsetting myself stepping on the scale when I know it's not going to give me a number that I want. And why am I worried about a certain number anyway? That doesn't, honestly, that doesn't affect me in any way. It doesn't affect my performance for the day. It doesn't affect my happiness for the day. Nothing. Like, my day's still going to go on. Life is still going to go on. I still have to do the things I have to do. So why am I going to let just this number ruin my entire day? It's stupid. But that's my rant. I'm probably going to cut this into a few different episodes because I feel like I can cover a lot. I just wanted to share something that I saw that's out there on social media that I don't want other people who may want to get into the sport think that, oh, I'm going to get an eating disorder now if I do this. Like, no, that's not absolutely true. And I feel like you'll know if the sport is for you. Like, you'll know, like, okay, yes, this is something I can stick with. Like, this is something that I can fit into my daily schedule. Like, for me, it's a priority for tracking my food, getting my workouts in. If it's not for you, then this sport is not for you. It's that simple. So, and there was another point I wanted to make. And if you decide to get into this sport as a means to just lose weight and look good, good luck, because being super lean is not sustainable. And to be quite honest, you may look good, but you don't feel good. You don't. You have no energy. Your strength is down. I actually had to take CBD and melatonin to go to sleep at night because I was just like so wired all the time. Like, I couldn't sleep because my body wanted me to be up. It wanted me to eat. It didn't want, it was trying to conserve as many calories as possible. Your NEAT kind of falls down. Like, you don't do anything more than you have to because your body wants to conserve those calories. I had no cushioning, honestly. Like, when I would go like sit on something, my son was playing soccer last summer and I was very lean then, and just to sit on or at the picnic tables for like 10 minutes was hell. It was not fun. It was not fun at all. And looking back now, like, of course then I was like, oh yeah, like, I look good. Like, yeah, I'm stage ready. But now I look back and I'm like, oh my God, like, it's kind of frightening. Like, it's not the way you would want to see someone every day. So just remember that. Like, it's not all fun and games by any means. I feel like I'm just healthier overall when I'm not in that dieting phase consistently. Like, everything, and then digestion even pretty much slows down, if not stops, like, because you're not eating enough. It's crazy. So it's definitely, if that's the reason why you're getting into this sport, it is not worth it. Putting yourself through that extreme is by no means worth looking good over. At that point, I would say take care of your health over your looks, because it's foolish to do something for just the looks. I feel like that brings me to another point. People will probably be like, well, then why do you do it? If you say that it's, it's not worth it just to look good, or, it's such an extreme, like, because it's what I like to do. It's something I fell in love with. I love weight training. I love feeling strong, looking strong. Like, this has just it's been a part of me for so long, and I love it. And that's how I know, like, I can feel it in my soul. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be in life. And that's the thing. You'll know if that's for you or not. Like, some people, yeah, let me try it. And then they realize, okay, it's not for me. Like, but I tried it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I do it because I do like to do it. And I know that I do like a challenge, and I do know that it's something I can do. Like, it's pretty much, why does anyone choose to do anything that they do? Because they like it. It brings them joy. And who's to say that what you do over what I do is any better? No one can make that judgment call. It's, you do what you do that brings you joy. And no one should judge that, because there's not one hobby or another, or lifestyle or another, that is better or cooler over another one. I do it because I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. And I love inspiring other people. I feel like this has helped me step out of my shell a little bit more. It's definitely made me more confident, and especially the gym. Like I said, I've loved the gym forever, but do you know how long I was that intimidated person in the gym? Like, I felt like I pretty much did cardio, and then I did like some weights and stuff. Like, I would scope out to make sure, because you'd always have all these big bulky men over there, and I'm like, I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. But in my head, I'm like I love doing this and I want to be a part of it, but I held myself back. Now I'm like the only girl in like the weight training area with the guys, and I pay them no mind. Like, I'm there to do my thing. I know what I'm doing, and I get out of there. You know, I don't have time to worry about what other people are doing. I'm there for me at that time. So, but I love inspiring. I mean, if anyone has any questions that they want me to answer or any advice, just let me know. I can make another video about that. But I'm gonna wrap this video up here because this actually did go a little bit longer than I thought it would. And I'm gonna come back with some other body image, eating disorder topics, especially in bikini athletes. So stay tuned.